Hey everyone, welcome back to Mars Tech Reviews. Today, we're going to embark on an exciting journey building your very own gaming PC from scratch. Whether you're a seasoned builder or a first-time DIY enthusiast, this tutorial will guide you through each step with clarity. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. 1. Overview of components. Before we jump into the assembly, let's quickly review the components you'll need for this build. Understanding each part will help you make informed decisions and ensure everything fits together smoothly. The PC case houses all your components. Choose one that suits your aesthetic and has good airflow. Motherboard. The motherboard is the main circuit board that connects all other components. CPU Central Processing Unit. The CPU is the brain of the computer, handling all the instructions and calculations. RAM Random Access Memory. RAM temporarily stores data that the CPU needs to access quickly. GPU Graphics Processing Unit. Also known as the graphics card, the GPU handles rendering graphics and is crucial for gaming performance. Storage. SSD solid-state drives and HDD hard disk drives are used to store your operating system, games, and files. Power Supply Unit PSU. The PSU provides power to all your components. Make sure it has enough wattage for your build. Cooling system. This can include CPU coolers and case fans to keep your system from overheating. Host. Now that we've covered the basics, let's talk about tools and workspace. You'll need a clean, flat surface to work on. An anti-static wristband is a good idea to prevent electrostatic discharge, which can damage your components. You'll also need a Phillips head screwdriver for most of the screws. 2. Preparing the case. Let's start by preparing your case. Open it up and remove any panels or brackets that might be in the way. Most cases have removable side panels for easy access. Also, if your case comes with any pre-installed fans, make sure they're in the correct orientation for optimal airflow. Removing panels. Most cases have thumb screws or smaller screws that need to be removed. Installing motherboard standoffs. These are small brass screws that elevate the motherboard off the case to prevent short circuits. Screw them into the case in the locations that align with your motherboard's mounting holes. Now that the case is prepared, let's install the motherboard. 3. Installing the motherboard ***. Carefully place the motherboard into the case, aligning it with the standoffs you installed earlier. Make sure all the ports on the motherboard align with the case cutouts. Aligning the motherboard. Check the I/O shield, usually pre-installed in the case, to ensure the motherboard ports align correctly. Securing the motherboard. Use the screws provided with your case to secure the motherboard to the standoffs. Tighten them gently to avoid damaging the motherboard. With the motherboard secured, let's move on to the CPU. 4. Installing the CPU ***. The CPU is one of the most critical components. Carefully open the CPU socket on the motherboard by lifting the lever or latch. Align the CPU with the socket, making sure to match the notches or arrows on the CPU and socket. Placing the CPU, gently place the CPU into the socket without using force. Once aligned, lower the lever to secure it in place. Applying thermal paste. Most CPUs come with a thermal paste pre-applied on the cooler. If not, apply a small pea-sized amount of thermal paste to the center of the CPU. With the CPU installed, let's move on to the RAM. 5. Installing RAM. Locate the RAM slots on the motherboard. Press down on the clips at either end of the slot to open them. Align your RAM module with the slot and press it down firmly until the clips snap into place. Inserting RAM. Make sure you install the RAM in the correct slots as indicated by your motherboard's manual, usually in alternating slots for dual-channel operation. With the RAM installed, let's tackle the GPU. 6. Installing the GPU. Find the PCIe slot on the motherboard where the GPU will go. Remove the corresponding slot covers on the back of the case. Carefully insert the GPU into the PCIe slot, pressing down until it's firmly seated. Securing the GPU. Once inserted, use screws to secure the GPU to the case. Connect any necessary power cables from the PSU to the GPU. Next, we'll install the storage drives. Installing storage drives, your case may have dedicated slots or bays for SSDs and HDDs. For SSDs, you might need to use mounting brackets if they're not already installed. Secure the SSD or HDD into the slot or bracket and connect the cables. Connecting storage. Attach the SATA cables from the motherboard to your SSD or HDD. Also, connect the power cables from the PSU to the storage drives. Host, now that the storage drives are in place, it's time to install the power supply. 8. Installing the power supply PSU. Place the PSU into its designated area in the case. Secure it with screws and connect the necessary cables to the motherboard, GPU, and storage drives. Connecting cables. Ensure you connect the 24-pin ATX cable to the motherboard, the 8-pin CPU cable to the CPU, and the PCIe cables to the GPU. Connect SATA power cables to your SSDs and HDDs. Host, with the PSU installed, let's finish up by installing the cooling system. 9. Installing the cooling system. If you're using an aftermarket CPU cooler, follow the manufacturer's instructions for installation. Typically, this involves placing the cooler on top of the CPU and securing it with brackets. Applying the cooler, ensure the cooler makes good contact with the CPU and connect the cooler's power cable to the motherboard. Host, lastly, install any additional case fans you might have. 10. Connecting case fans and front panel connectors. Connect any case fans to the motherboard or fan headers on the PSU. For front panel connectors, USB, audio, power button, refer to your motherboard's manual for the exact pin configuration. Front panel connectors. Plug in the power switch, reset switch, HDD LED, and power LED connectors to the corresponding pins on the motherboard. Host, with everything installed, it's time to power up your PC. 11. Powering up and BIOS setup. Connect your monitor, keyboard, and mouse. Plug in the power cable and turn on your PC. If everything is connected correctly, you should see the BIOS screen. This is where you can check that all your components are recognized. Entering BIOS. To enter the BIOS, press the designated key, usually delete or F2 during startup. In the BIOS, you can configure settings such as boot order and RAN timings. If the BIOS recognizes all your components, you're ready to install your operating system. 12. Installing the operating system. Insert your OS installation media, USB or DVD, and restart your PC. Follow the on-screen instructions to install the operating system. You'll need to partition your drive and choose your installation preferences.
OS installation. Once the OS is installed, you'll need to install drivers for your motherboard, GPU, and other components. Check the manufacturer's websites for the latest drivers. Host. With the OS and drivers installed, you're all set. Congratulations on building your custom gaming PC. If you enjoyed this tutorial, give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more tech content, and leave any questions or comments below. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming!